Welcome to The Explainer. We're going to talk about a really subtle but super powerful shift happening in AI right now. It's all about how our AI assistants are evolving from these kind of basic one-at-a-time helpers into partners that can actually think and work on their own.
Okay, so have you ever been in this situation? You're asking an AI to do something big, like, I don't know, draft a whole report, and then mid-task, a simple little question pops into your head. But you're stuck, right? You literally have to wait for it to finish that entire first job before you can even ask. It's so frustrating, and it's this exact bottleneck we're going to dig into.
So why does that happen? Well, the reason is actually pretty simple. Most of the AI we use today operates synchronously. Just think of it like a one-lane road, Only one car can go at a time, in one direction. Everything else is just stuck in a traffic jam, waiting its turn. And this leads to what you could call the turn-based trap. It's this super rigid setup that doesn't just make the AI feel slow, it actually drags your productivity down while you're just sitting there, waiting for it to be your turn again.
Yeah, this really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's this endless, rigid loop. You ask, the AI processes, and you just wait. There is zero room for you to jump in. No multitasking allowed. The phone call analogy is perfect. It's like only one person can talk at a time. As soon as one task starts, that line is totally busy.
Okay, let's put this into a real-world scenario. Imagine you're using an AI to plan a big trip. You tell it, hey, build me a full 5-day itinerary for Tokyo. So it starts churning away, finding flights, checking hotels, and then you suddenly think, oh wait, what's the weather going to be like? With a synchronous AI, you're out of luck. You can't ask. That agent is completely 100% locked into its big task. It can't handle that tiny little follow-up question.
But this is where things start to get really interesting. A whole new way of thinking is popping up to just completely shatter that turn-based trap, and it's called asynchronous AI.
And this chart, it makes the difference crystal clear. Look, synchronous AI is that demanding phone call that needs all your attention. But asynchronous AI, that's like having a real-life assistant. You just delegate the task, they go off and work on it in the background, and you are totally free to do other things or, even give them more stuff to work on at the same time.
So here's the absolute key takeaway. We're talking about truly autonomous agents. These things are designed from the ground up to tackle big, complex, time-sucking jobs all by themselves. You don't have to babysit them. They just go, get the work done, and pretty much tap you on the shoulder when they have the answer. It's a totally different way of working.
Okay, so how does this all work? It sounds a bit like magic, right? Well, let's pop the hood for a second. Don't worry, we won't get too technical, and see what's actually making these agents tick.
So, the core of it is something called an event-driven architecture. And the best way to picture it is like a super smart switchboard operator for all the AI's tasks. It's always listening for new events. That could be a request from you or maybe a result coming back from a tool, and it just routes everything to the right place, instantly figuring out what's the most important thing to deal with next. And to do all this, the system has some really clever tricks up its sleeve for multitasking. For example, it can fork a process. Think of that like it's making a quick copy of itself to go work on a small related task. Or it can spawn a totally new independent worker to handle a completely different job. It's this ability to create clones and new workers on the fly that lets it juggle so many things at once without getting all mixed up.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But this isn't just academic. This change in architecture has real, tangible benefits. It's the answer to that big question, okay, but why should I care? And get this, the data totally backs it up. In a real-world experiment with a physical robot arm, researchers found that these asynchronous agents didn't just work in a new way. They actually worked better, a lot better. They learned new tasks faster and had way higher success rates. I mean, they can basically think and act at the same time. That is a complete game changer.
And this isn't some far-off future stuff. We're seeing it in the workplace right now. Think about it. A research agent you can just tell, hey, go compile a massive report, and it just does it in the background while you do other things. Or in software development, you've got tools like Cursor's Composer that are hunting down and fixing bugs all on their own. Even in sales, you can have an agent that just plows through call logs and emails to keep your CRM updated. Think of all the mind-numbing manual work that just disappears.
This image really puts it all into perspective. You can literally see the evolution. Down at the bottom, you have the foundational models, right? The GPT-3s of the world. Then we built agent frameworks on top of them, like LangChain and AutoGen. But look where we're going, up in the top right. The next massive step is developing these agent protocols. These are basically the standardized rules of the road, the common language that will let all these different AIs and tools talk to each other and work together asynchronously. This is what's going to unlock their true power for really complex work.
So where does this all lead? Well, this shift is building towards a future vision that is way, way bigger than just having a slightly better personal assistant. What the experts are starting to talk about is something they call an Internet of Agents. Just try to imagine that for a second. A massive interconnected web where all these different specialized AIs can communicate and share intelligence just as easily as data flows across the internet right now.
In a future like that, you could have countless specialized agents. Say, one's an expert in finance, another in logistics, a third in scientific research. They could find each other on this network and form these temporary teams, like a flash mob of intelligence. They could team up to solve problems that are just way too big and complicated for any single AI, let alone a single person, to tackle. And it's all possible because of those standardized protocols that let them all speak the same language.
And really, that brings us to the final big idea here. As this technology gets better and better, that whole frustrating experience of just waiting for our tools, that's going to disappear. We'll be able to delegate truly massive, complex problems to these tireless AI partners. So the question really isn't if this is going to happen anymore. The question is, what are we going to do with that kind of power? So I'll leave you with this. What's the first grand challenge you would hand off?